Hello, and welcome to the Weather Report. That was the chime. Now is the time for the Weather Report. Welcome, and thank you for joining me on my journey to visit and rate every Wetherspoons in the UK and Ireland, awarding them a wooden spoon if you should give it a miss, or a silver spoon if you should put it on your hit list. Please, if you are enjoying the podcast, leave a review and subscribe. It does help me very much. Also, if you have any thoughts at all on the podcast, email me at perrysOldSpooners@hotmail.com. Before we head into Wetherspoons news, I'd like to welcome back Pepsi. He's back and ready to go. Would you like to say hello to the listeners, Pepsi? No? Okay. Did you enjoy your time with Susan and Claire with an eye? Did Susan make you sleep in a crate as she was worried you were going to eat her face while she slept after that time she woke up to you licking Philadelphia off her face and she was convinced you were getting ready to devour her? Probably didn't help yourself after that time you bit her on the bum. If you were to eat Susan, she would feed you for a while. It's not that Susan is a particularly large woman, it's just you're a small Jack Russell. Welcome back, Pepsi. I missed you last week and I'm sure the listeners did too. For anyone wondering, Susan is my soon-to-be ex-mother-in-law. Don't worry, I don't fall into a trope of hating my mother-in-law. Just her daughter. This week's pub is the Temeraire in Shaffron Waldon. Before that, it's time for Wetherspoons in the news. Now, last week I reported a story in which a vlogger, Charlie Vlogs, claims to have discovered a hack to get a cheap full English at Wetherspoons by ordering individual items via the app. This news story has now popped up in the Daily Mail. I wish I could get coverage like this. He hasn't found a smart hack, he's just ordered food. Just goes to show the level of journalism in the Daily Mail. Most articles are talking about the 12th of September, the Tax Equality Day. GB News are saying that the price of Bud Light will fall to £4.09 from £4.42. May I ask, who is paying £4.42 for a pint of Bud Light? Will you be going to Spoons on the 12th and enjoying a cheeky discount? I know I will. The Lancashire Telegraph is reporting that Wetherspoons will be slashing prices of a small breakfast to $2.99 in some of their spoons. Lancashire area pubs included are the Commercial Hotel in Church Street, Accrington, the Postal Order in Darwin Street, Blackburn, the Old Chapel in Railway Road, Darwin. That's from the 4th of September. Once had a fabulous evening in the Postal Order after watching Blackburn in the third round of the FA Cup. On further research, this is going on in 650 Wetherspoons pubs. Far more than I can list here. Check your local and see if you can get a discounted meal. In an interesting article from Yahoo News, in which Sir Tim Martin, talks about the return of the Great British Pub. That year-to-date, like-for-like sales are up nearly 8.2%, and sales of real ale are increasing after a slowdown after the pandemic. Guinness sales are also boosting, as that is a now in vogue drink. I've noticed it's very popular with men in hats and beards. This is a direct quote from Sir Tim Martin. Sales of Lavazza coffee are also increasing. Free refills are thought to be responsible for spontaneous exhibitions of breakdancing among retired customers. Very good. Also, wine sales are up with the middle classes. All great news for the Great British Pub, including our favourite, Wetherspoons. The final article comes from the Mail Online about the Thomas Ingoldsby Hotel in Canterbury, where you can enjoy views of the cathedral from your room, and the room only costs about £60. So, even more reason to visit the Thomas Ingoldsby in Canterbury. That was it for the Wetherspoons news. This week's pub is the Temeraire. So let's start with what other customers thought and the reviews. On TripAdvisor, it scores 3.5 out of 5 out of 230 reviews. And on Google Reviews, it's coming out fighting with 3.9 out of 795 reviews. Mainly scoring 4 and 5 reviews on Google, apart from Ray T, who said, give this place a miss, and gave it a 1-star review. It's fair to say that Ray T didn't Ray T this pub. I don't have anything to say about Ray T's review. I just did it for the pun, really. Then we have a 1-star review from Lisa L, left about 3 weeks ago, where she had some problems with the app and was charged twice and is still waiting a refund for some breakfast she ordered, and there was a lot of tables with piled up dirty plates and they took forever to clear. It appears this is an issue with the app and it should really be addressed with Wetherspoons HQ. She also claims to have been charged £26 for scrambled egg and toast twice. Which Wetherspoons is she actually reviewing? The one in Chelsea? Dirty plates again, but there is no context to this review. On the whole, the reviews are very good. Reading through them, it seems to be a few ups and downs through the years. Like July of last year, we have Ed O, and he said, terrible experience. The place is full of drugs. Even the manager, Ashley, is a coke head, taking drugs while working. I feel this is more of an issue for the authorities and higher up management rather than TripAdvisor. And then finally, we have Molly. Now this is going back to February 23, but I did find it an interesting review that I'd like to share with you. I swear to God, this is her review. Sorry. I swear to God, my beans tasted like someone had farted in them. The egg was something else. Very dissatisfied with my brekkie. The bacon was ham or raw. And the sausages tasted like a Kellogg's cereal box. The waiters are rude and act like they don't want to be there. The apple juice tasted like, and I'm going to say urine from a crackhead's drug test. The only good thing was the refillable coffee, and it was delicious. Now, what can I say apart from this? As I don't think Molly actually has drunk drug test urine. I feel maybe her hyperbole has made it sound like she has. From reading many reviews, it seems like for a while there was bad management, and for a while, which upset the local community. The problem seems to have been resolved now, or at least seemed so after my visit, or had it. Stay tuned and find out. And if you're enjoying the podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. Want to share your thoughts on this week's pub? Please email me at perrysoldspodooners@hotmail.com. So, after reading the reviews, I was very interested in going to the Temeraire. I arrived in Shaffron Waldon, and it is a very pretty town, and a lot of effort has gone into maintaining its prettiness. The car park was well hidden by greenery and doesn't seem like a car park that had just been opened and dumped there. Someone has sat down and thought about how to make it fit with the whole town. They did have a QD stores. I haven't seen one of those for years. Mother McGann once bought me a Le Shark polo shirt, which I really liked, and I wore it to non-uniform day. And Peter Draper made fun of me and said that I was poor because I shopped at QD. I never wore it again after that. But how did you know it was from QD, Pete? How did you know? For those of you who don't know, QD stands for Quality Discount, and in the 90s sold homeware and clothing. I don't know what they do now. I've not been in one for nearly 30 years, too traumatised by the whole Peter Draper situation. As much as I liked Shaffron Waldon, it was mainly just medieval and Georgian buildings filled up with trendy coffee shops and a Waitrose. There is Audley End House and St Mary the Virgin's Church, which is the largest non-Catholic church in Essex. Sorry about that. Could make a terrible joke about large non-Catholic virgins called Mary in Essex, but I won't. There is also the Cross Quay pub and boutique hotel, which is famous for appearing on Channel 4's Four in the Bed. I had a quick scan of their TripAdvisor, and it is not good. I wonder what happened there. But we're not here for that. I got to the Temeraire. It was a beautiful day. I'd worn trousers, and by this point was regretting that decision. I do find myself getting unreasonably angry if I'm too hot. Like when you're driving in the winter and your face feels like it's burning from the heat being blown on it from the hot air blower. The Temeraire is a stunning Georgian building with a large garden. When entering, I was struck by how bright and clean it all was. There was a scattering of people at tables, and there was a medium-sized group by the bar, what I assumed to be a group of regulars. I was also struck by the rather impressive parquet floor, something I have noticed in my time of drinking, and is more noticeable in Wetherspoons, as I think Wetherspoons prices are more favourable to the regular drinker or the daily drinker. There's almost always a larger group of regulars who sit and chat close to the bar. Some will have a routine, 11 till 4, 3 or 4 pints. Then there is the lone regular, who is known to everyone, and often the larger group will buy the lone drinker a drink. But it is never expected that they will sit with the larger group, nor are they shunned. They will just often sit by a window very contemplatively. Have you noticed something similar? I say this because I notice it at the Temeraire. Is being a pub regular something you aspire to, or is it something that just happens? It's not something that's happened to me. I've had friends move to somewhere new, and within weeks they are regulars of a local pub, sharing jokes with well-established regulars. I often observe the regulars rather than partaking, a pub voyeur, if you would. Something I have noticed is that you often get a single trip regular who is able to infiltrate the group for only a few hours, and then they are gone, never to be seen again. The charismatic loner, who would have in the olden days been a snake oil salesman or a spiv in the Second World War, who makes the barmaids swoon with his silver tongue. This is most definitely not me. The woman on the checkout at Tesco's the other day noticed I had dog food and asked what dog I had. I told her a little Jack Russell, and in an awkward effort to continue the conversation, I told her the food smells the same going in as it does going out. So, anyway, what are your feelings on regulars? Are you one? Are you a member of staff who has to deal with them? Are you listening to this while you're contemplating life or gazing out of a pub window? Let me know at perrysoldspoonershotmail.com. And if you are enjoying the show, please leave a review on whatever service you are listening to it. I was very surprised at how quiet the pub was. Even the garden wasn't as busy as I thought it'd be on a day as warm as this. I don't think this had much to do with the regular crowd, as they seemed friendly enough. The garden was lovely and big, with gazebo areas for to get you out of the sun or rain. Also nice touch there, as there were separate areas for smokers and non-smokers. Now, do you remember the Golden Lion in Newmarket? Where I said they had fruit machines in their own area, very much like a casino. A Newmarket, Las Vegas, possibly. Well, they seem to be arranged here. The fruit machines were arranged in a circle in the middle of the bar area, almost like a pillar of fruit machines, like a Mount Olympus of fruit machines. Now, who is guilty of hyperbole there? I sat close to the front door. The front is separated to 4 smaller rooms, but they still very much is open plan. They had a fireplace, and the back was backed by lovely blue wallpaper with a willow pattern-esque on it, which I very much appreciated, which seemed to be a nod to their now iconic blue willow plates. The carpets was a nice poppy pattern. You could argue it wasn't, but that's what it felt like to me, with a mix of very nice parquet flooring. I really did like it. This is a very good looking Wetherspoons inside and out. Before the Wetherspoons, this building operated as a lawyer's office, and it truly was a beautiful Georgian building. Now, to the food, I had the buttermilk Tennessee chicken burger. After last week, where I mentioned the Tennessee sauce, I'd been thinking about it all week. I also added a pint of Shipyard. Something I noticed was the Korean bowl, which I had in March. The pub, the Hippodrome, not the month, which was £10 and 2p there, was £9 and 2p at the Temeraire, which I found puzzling because we're closer to London and thought the prices would go up. Now, my food turned up in 5 to 6 minutes, which is an improvement on last week, or maybe not if you're enjoying your surroundings. My burger was very nice, but something I wanted to address was the sauce, as it arrives in a little ramekin, and rather on the sauce. And I always just end up dipping my chips in it and not putting it on my burger. I was tempted to, but didn't want to create a puddle on my plate and have to, have it soak into the bottom of my bun, making it more difficult to eat. Also, something I wanted to address was about the chips. Does anyone know if Wetherspoons has recently changed chip suppliers? As these chips felt less McCain's oven chip-like and more like real chips. But anyway, everything was hot and cooked fresh, as I expect, as it was so very quiet. The buttermilk chicken breast itself is very similar to the chicken zinger from KFC, but not spicy. Not to be confused with the chicken fillet, which I believe is cooked differently. It was nice and crunchy. I enjoyed my burger. There was nothing to write home about the dish. This is one of their gourmet burgers, although it is nice. Once it arrived, I had found myself wishing I had ordered the American triple cheese. I do feel that this is a burger that Wetherspoons excels at. But I can't just travel the country reviewing the triple cheese now, can I? No, I'm asking, can I? Now, to the toilets. From where I was, it was about a 30-second walk. Maybe longer if you had mobility issues, but no stairs. It was all on the same level as the bar. The toilets themselves were clean, and the check sheet was up to date. There was nothing to write home about the toilets. So yeah, let's just get to the scores on the doors. Cleanliness, on a whole, it was clean. The tables were cleared quickly. After I'd been to the toilet, I walked back to my table, and it had been cleared. Speed of service, again, it was under 10 minutes. Solid 5 out of 6. Staff were effective, well organised, and functional. Now the 3 T's. Time to the toilet. It was about 30 seconds. It was all on the same floor. Yeah, it was very good. Toilets were very clean. Food, when it arrived, it was hot. All the elements were good. The temperature was there, and nothing burnt my mouth. Quality of drink. Shipyard, fantastic as always. Now, for value, my meal was £11.46. £2.99 was the price for the Shipyard, so it was £8.45, £8.46, £7.47, £8.47 for the burger and chips and onion. I think that's good value. Ales, they only had Abbott Ale at £1.99 and Lancashire Black at £1.99 at time of visits. I did see that Brewster's Decadence was waiting to come on, but it wasn't on, which is a shame because it is a lovely pint. If you ever get a chance to have it, I'd have it. Brewster's, I think, is a Lincolnshire brewery. Correct me if I'm wrong. £2.48 for a Bud Light, £2.10 for a Strongbow. Sorry, £2.10 for a Stowford Press, and £2.25 for a Strongbow. Guinness was £3.50, which I think is 30 or 40p cheaper than the Hippodrome last week in March. A single Gordon's here is back to £2.10, which is cheaper than the Hippodrome by £1.50, I think. So it seems that the spoons here is much more in line with the Stamford and the Golden Lion. The outlier here is the Hippodrome March. Why was the Hippodrome March more expensive? Is March more of a financially better off town than it appears? A town full of secret millionaires? Well, I think on this occasion I will have to give the Temeraire a silver spoon. Now, share your sports thoughts with me. Have you visited? Give me an email at perrysOldSpooners@hotmail.com. Now, for Wetterbox. No, that doesn't work. I think I'll stick with letter spoons. Wetterbox sounds like a box of Weetabix that's fallen in a puddle. Time for letter spoons. This week we have a sack busting 2 emails. So let's see what our POSs have to say. First up is Mike W. from Durham, who says he'd like to take Eugene Levy for a bevy at his local, the Bishop's Mill. I look forward to reviewing this in the near future. Mike W.'s tipple of choice is a big old pint of San Miguel. He says he never really got over Wetherspoon's taken away Kronenberg as it was his favourite. If I was forced to have a lager, I would say Kronenberg would be my first choice too. San Miguel is not a favourite of mine. And has anybody noticed that every summer there seems now to be an influx of fashionable Spanish lagers? First San Miguel, then Madri, and now Campo Cruzo. Or was it Cruzo Campo? Eugene Levy, of course, famous for playing the father character in American Pie, and the fella who's trying to take pictures of Daryl Hannah in the bath in the film Splash. But let's be honest, wouldn't we all? Pepsi is a big fan of the. No, I was talking about you, not to you. Well, there's a treat. Go on, go away. As I was saying, very attractive chewing going on there. Claire Witt and I said that we looked very similar when we ate chewing with our mouths open. I don't chew with my mouth open. I think she just said it to get under my skin. Sorry. As I was saying, Pepsi is a big fan of Splash, especially the John Candy character. He's a big John Candy fan, especially Uncle Buck. But I think that was just because of the giant pancakes he used to make. Thank you very much for your email there, Mike W. Welcome to the club, you POS. Next up, we have Dino from Cardiff, who says he's enjoying the podcast and his local Wetherspoons and favourite Wetherspoons is the Prince of Wales, Cardiff. And he would like to take Blackadder himself, Rowan Atkinson, to the Prince of Wales for a pint of Stella. Rowan Atkinson, famous of course for not only playing Blackadder, but Mr. Bean, and more recently, Johnny English. So you could be taking Johnny English for a full English and a pint of Stella. Welcome to the club, Dino, you POS. Now, that is the end of Letterspoons and, sadly, the end of the show. Now, if you want to be a POS, just email me at perrysOldSpooners@hotmail.com. If you're enjoying the podcast, please leave a review. Join me next week when I will be reviewing a lovely pair of Bristols. Sorry, I meant to say a lovely pair of Bristol Wetherspoons. Now, thank you again for listening, and say good night, Pepsi. Good night, Pepsi. And I'll speak to you all soonly. Spoonly, and good night.